Hi there. Welcome back to You Can Emerge Positive. I'm Deanne Lewis, your host, and around here we talk about simple ways of what you can do to help improve your life in all different areas of your life. And this one actually crosses every single category. It's also something that almost I think every single person has encountered. I can't imagine someone that hasn't, honestly. And it's something that we may not even be aware of. It's fear. Fear is that thing that stands in between where you are right now and where you want to be. And here's what it looks like. It could be you looking at whatever it is that you want to do and say, "Oh, I'm just not ready. Like I need more time." Or my time has passed. I'm too old now. Like I can't do that anymore." Or have you asked yourself, who would like why do I think I can do this? Who would believe that I can do this? Or what if I fail? What if I fail? These are all examples of how fear shows up in our life. And here's the wild part. We don't just have fear in our life. We build our life around it. Think about that. We build our life around fear. So in this episode, I want to share with you how to recognize fear when it's in the driver's seat in your life and understand what it's really doing inside your mind, and then also, I want to share one simple shift that it goes from fear to love. And that changes exactly what you're going to do next. And your choices are what are creating your life. So making the shift has a huge, huge impact because also the truth is here, fear may feel really real. And I mean, it does. It feels incredibly real. I've been there too, but it doesn't need to be in charge, right? Fear does not need to be in charge. So let's start with, how am I getting in my own way? Because you have, and so have I. I mean, I catch myself all the time. I am always getting in my own way of my own success, my own happiness, what I say I want, and so do you. So getting in your way often looks like procrastination or overthinking or maybe people pleasing, or perfectionism, or quitting early. Those are all forms of getting in your own way because of fear. And the common root is fear on all of those. And fear doesn't always scream, it sometimes whispers. It whispers, it says, stay there, just stay small, stay comfortable, stay safe. No, 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 no. If you don't name it as fear, then what happens, and catch yourself here if this is what you're doing, you be making the mistake by calling it logic or even, oh, it's my personality. No, these are all other ways of just creating your life around fear. So if you are doing that, like take note. Take note. It's not personality. It's not logic. It's actually a way that you are getting in your own way because of the fear that you have about moving forward. And something I just want to say, that's okay. I mean, everyone does it. The key is the awareness. Awareness is your first major step, probably 50% step that will get you past it. Fear does not just stop you from doing the thing that you want to do. It convinces you that you're not the kind of person that could do it. I mean, it is a massive, massive wall if we let it. But here's the thing. Fear, although it feels so real and convincing, it's not. And I mean, it really isn't. And I'm speaking from personal experience here. I have gone through so many different things where I have forced myself through it. And I'll tell you, the easiest way through fear is just by taking a step through it. You have to just take a tiny, tiny step through it because and it's just not real. It's like smoke. You will recognize, although it is like something that will freeze you and hold you in place. But if you just force yourself to take a baby step forward, it will dissipate. It is the most incredible mind game I have ever been through, but it is very true. And so I just want to remind you of this tool. I'm sure you've heard of it before, but I'm going to remind you. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. Okay, I'll say that again. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real, but it's not. It's not real. So fear is also very, very, very persuasive. And it's because it uses like the worst case scenarios, right? It'll take your mind and just jump you to like something that is not going to happen likely, but it's the worst case scenario. Or it takes an old experience that you have proof, right? That this is going to happen again. Or it uses your identity and attacks your identity. Like, you're not capable of doing this. What do you think? Why do you think you could do this? Fear is clever, but it's not prophecy. It's just projection. Okay? It's just projection. So for me, I'll share a personal story because I do think that this is something that many of us out there share. Um, for me, fear often shows up at around, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll be having a sleep, and then all of a sudden I wake up, and the second that I am conscious, my mind starts going, and it is doomsday. I mean, the earth is falling, and every single thought that comes through my mind is something that is earth-shattering, and I don't know how I'm going to do this, and it's how am I going to find the money? Who's going to believe me? How am I going to accomplish all of this? And it is like seriously feels like the world is coming to come to an end. So how do I get through that? If I don't know if you've gone through the same thing. I know I've spoken with many who have. And so what I do is I first just get out of bed, I use the restroom, I wash my hands, and I come back. And I do it very slowly and just not just very calmly. And I allow myself just to kind of let my head switch, right? Like get that out of my head. I get back in bed and I start from my head to my toes and I relax every major like muscle in my body. And then by the time I get to my toes, sometimes that's enough and I can just go back to sleep. If I'm still kind of keyed up, even though I'm focusing on relaxing my muscles, I will then imagine myself walking on a beach and just hearing the waves and being calm because that is my happy place, is being on the beach. And that ultimately will lead me back to sleep. And it's just a way of like talking myself out, off the ledge. Sometimes I'll say a prayer and ask for peace to come and like let this go. Sometimes I negotiate with myself and say, I promise I will pick this up first thing in the morning, but right now I'm giving myself permission to set it down. And you know something? 100% of the time, and I mean 100% of the time, whatever doomsday thing I was thinking about at 3 a.m., by the time I'm out of bed at 7 a.m., it is nothing. Like literally, it is like something I can go, oh, boop, I'm done. It's crazy. It's just that nighttime that makes it feel so dark. So I'm just sharing this because, again, I feel like I know a lot of other people go through this fear, and it's important to understand that you hold the control over your mindset to get rid of it. Fear is not real. So find what works for you. Try what I just shared and see if it works for you. The muscle relaxing from head to toe is something that, so many doctors have written about and it really does work. It is fantastic. Another thing is focus your mind on something positive like gratitude. Just like force yourself to start going through all the things you're grateful for. It's a trick of the mind just to get it off of that. Maybe you have a notepad by your bedside and you write down what you're concerned about in bullet points and say, okay, it's out of my head. I'll look at this in the morning and deal with it. Whatever you need to do. But no, the fear is really not real. So, the miracle shift that I want to talk about today is a shift in perception. And perception is one of the things that we do have control over. There's two things that we control. How we respond to someone, that is 100% in our control. But our perception is also in our control. That's the one I think that is a little iffy for some people because sometimes they believe that their mind is in control, but your mind is your tool. You get to control that. So you get to control your perception. And your perception is what? It is the filter in which you are perceiving and experiencing life. So it is key. And the miracle shift about this is when you change your perception about something like fear, you completely change the outcome and really your experience with it because your perception is the filter, right? So if you change the filter of how you see and experience something, then it's going to appear very different. And there are a lot of teachings that talk about that when you change your perception, you actually change the situation because it feels that way. It is an incredible, miraculous thing. So a shift in perception is truly a miracle. So if you are listening and you feel stuck, and it doesn't mean that you're broken, it just may mean that you're believing a fearful thought is real. And the key is to go and change your perception. So there are two paths of perception that we can choose every 24 hours, actually every day within the day as well. But there's only two. It's either fear or it's love. Everything that we experience falls into one of those two categories, and we have the power of choice to choose what path we're going to go down for the day. Fear says protect, defend, hide, control, delay. Love says trust, expand, learn, try, be seen, and grow. Your life is showing you which lens that you have been living in. So look at, how do you speak to yourself? What are the words that you're using to you? What are you avoiding? What are you tolerating in your life? And what are you keeping? What are you procrastinating? What do you keep procrastinating that you know you should do, but you're not? Now, look, guys, I'm pointing this could be kind of harsh, I guess. I don't want it to come across as harsh. This is stuff that we all go through, but I'm pointing out very specifically and directly because when you see it, you can get rid of it. So if you can check the box to any of those things, the avoidance, the self-talk that's so negative, really pull that out and say, okay, what am I doing here and why? Where's the fear? What am I avoiding? So I want to share with you quickly here a tool. It's called NNC, Notice, Name, and Choose. So first you want to notice or catch the fear, right? The awareness is number one. It is key. If you are not aware of it, you can't get rid of it. So what am I afraid would happen if I really went for this? That's the question to ask yourself. What would happen? Like, what am I afraid that's going to happen if I really tried to do X or I really changed something or whatever your fill in the blank is? Okay. Catch the fear first. Name, and then name it. Put it into a sentence. I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of being judged. I'm afraid I'll disappoint people. And then add to yourself, that's a fear story. That's not fact. Because what is fear? Fear is our story that we tell ourselves. It's not real. It's just a story. So notice it, catch your story, right? What is the fear that you are allowing? Name it. Like, how am I feeling? I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of somebody calling me out on my, I don't know, that I'm not good enough. Whatever it is. And then say to yourself, that's not true. That is not factually true. It is just a fear story. And then I want you to choose, because love gets a vote here. Ask, what would love do next? Just the next step, not like the whole thing. You don't have to have this whole thing figured out. This is where people really break down because we feel like we've got to have all the answers. We've got to know how we're going to get to the end. No, 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 no. Just what would love do in the next step? What would love do? If you're afraid of failing, and that's the fear story, what would love do? Okay, well, let me give you a couple examples. Love would send the email or make the appointment or post the video. Love would ask for help. Love would start the 10-minute walk, and love would have the honest conversation. Love doesn't require the perfect plan, okay? Love just requires willingness. Willingness to take one step. So, I'm going to give you a challenge. For the next week, I would like you to choose one area of your life that you are noticing that's being run by fear. One area, right? So it's either health or money or relationships, your job, career, whatever, right? But one that you are noticing fear is in the driver's seat. And I want you to take one love-based decision each day, just for the next week. It must be small enough that you can do it even on a really busy day. It needs to be 1% movement, just 1%. This is so easy, right? In other words, there's no excuse. It's something that is really tiny that you could do even on a busy day. And then at night, each night before you go to sleep, I want you to finish this one sentence. It'd be great if you wrote it down, but at least finish it in your head. Okay? This is the sentence. Today, fear said, fill in the blank. Love said, fill in the blank. So I did, fill in the blank. Okay, let me give that to you one more time. Today, fear said, love said, so I did, fill in the blank. That is your challenge for the week. And see what happens. See that shift that I was talking about that's so miraculous in your perception and what happens in the whole circumstance. Watch what happens in just 7 days. You're going to be blown away, I'm telling you. Fear is tricky. I know it feels real. It feels painful. I have been there too. And it feels out of your control. But fear is not you. It's not your identity. And it sure as heck is not your future. You have the power to walk right through it. You really do. So today you get to decide, will you walk the path of fear or will you walk the path of love? I'm rooting for you. Remember, you can emerge positive. I'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks for joining.